Just looking at the Swans forward line, we've got Hooker deep on Tippett, and at this stage, early to Franklin.
Friday night football is underway at Etihad Stadium. Derickx won it down. Jack with the opening kick, floats one towards half forward. McVeigh so good last week, couldn't hang on that time. Dempsey slips it away. Hibbert hand passes forward, chopped off by Lloyd, across the ground by Jack Parker. That was clever. Angles the ball to Laidler, and Laidler is on the wing. Looks back across the ground. Smith finding some space. Awkward one. The reach of Bill Chambers very important. Merritt's away. The height of Richards equally important. After it goes Merritt again. This is Jackson Merritt. Was he pushed in the back? No, it was a good tackle that took him down. And a ball up, I would imagine.
Notice that Fletcher went to good, so
a little bit of experience there. 73 between them, eh? Kennedy and Watson also not necessarily playing on each other, but seeing the match up through the midfield.
So Watson to Heppel to Aylett, and there is Fletcher banging it forward. Now Sydney have got the extra man.
Holding Sydney. Sydney free kick. Hold.
So Richards didn't hold the mark, but Danaher, his father played 115 games with the Swans and 118, I think, with the Bombers. So good story today. Could have been an either. Shaw. Again, McQuail wrote that today. So Shaw with a little one to Jack. Always gets on his bike, Jack. That's a lovely way to kick. Derickx really should have marked that. And then gets into the back. No free kick, or is it? It is, yeah. So Watson getting it early.
So's Jack. 3 possessions already for the Sydney captain. Heppel has to wait, but the kick was kind enough. Looks across the ground, not a lot on offer. Hibbert providing the run from half back, not a particularly good kick. Goddard gathers the bouncing football deftly, goes in short to Ryder. Back to Goddard, best and fairest last season, towards half forward. That's a high ball. Zaharakis camped underneath it, tidied up by Richards. This is Rampy. He's a left footer. Now he's in trouble, Rampy. Goes with the right boot close to the boundary line. Well, you've got to say, for a man in trouble, that was perfection.
He's a very dominant left foot player, Dane Rampy. So that was a great display of his non-preferred foot.
So Cunningham, I should say. Franklin, he did well in the overheads last week, and that's a strong mark. Probably the push paid, I guess, in the end, but he had a fair bit of it, buddy. So he wheels around, flattens it to full forward. Oh, good mark. Parker kicks a goal. What a start for Parker. Franklin to Parker, and Sydney get the first.
Great finish by Parker.
Parker again
to play
flying under the radar this year. Second at the Sydney Swans for scoreboard impact, clearances, contested possessions. He's a real star, Jude.
Absolute sensational player and good overhead as well.
Ryder taps it down. Out of there by Jack. Hanbury. So the Bombers getting the free kick.
Back here. Back here. Back on.
This is Aylett. Alongside the centre circles, goes down towards half forward. Taking a tumble was Danaher. Taking a mark was Grundy. Plays on immediately. Shaw. Short of the wing. Mark is taken by Lloyd. He was impressive a couple of weeks back. Demands something of Jetta, who came quickly. And he's up from left half back. Not much movement, got to say, although Franklin goes late. Takes the mark right on the wing. Wheels around, distributes wide. Malcheski.
Stay there, Joe.
Saw this last week at times. The Swans quite prepared to be patient. Malcheski wants a leading player.
Goods has just come back off the interchange, and that patience rewarded Dennis. So, oh, gee. So Aylett just...
It's an error of judgment that becomes unbelievably costly when you just encroach a bit inside, a bit over the mark. As we often say, it's a massive penalty, the 50 metres for what most offences are that create them.
So Kennedy shouldn't miss, should he? I mean, 2 goals, 3 from set shots so far this year, but this is a soda, you would think, for a player of his quality. And he gets it home, so the Swans midfielders get a couple of goals early, and they've got the first 2.
Here's the infringement here from Aylett. He'd like to have that again. It is a massive penalty, and Josh Kennedy goes back. Talk about the forward matchups causing headaches for the Bombers. The midfield also, when you've got Heath Hocking as the prime tagger, he's trying to get to Jack, but spending time on Hanbury as well, so Swans dominating at the minute.
Kennedy to Bird, sends it inside the forward 50, tip it almost, built it. Lloyd gave it away. Hibbert, ditto, right on the 50, lining up Rampy. Not so good with his left peg this time. It goes out of bounds in the opposite pocket. Moments ago, very good in defence with his right, but kicking at goals, a different kettle of fish.
You see the size of Tippett. I mean, the defenders are just hanging all over him just to stop his height and bulk getting at the footy. Every decision and every contest is really a possible free against.
Doing the ruck work now, Lee, with Ryder. Watson fished it out to Hooker and then has to toe poke it. Doesn't get it far, cutting him back. Now, Jetta gets a bit on it. It's very high. Going to be a hard ball, obviously, to mark. Tippett went really early with Hooker, trying to read it. Lloyd, little give. McVeigh, Hibbert, and a boundary throw in.
Well, on that point, I think Hooker is the best matchup for both Tippett and Franklin.
Yeah,
but just the sheer size of Kurt Tippett rules Hurley out of that matchup, I'd suspect.
Boundary throw in then. Reed did some rucking last week and was good. Knocks it down. Hocking, though, the crumb. Kicks it up towards the wing. Melcheski gets in the road. So the Swans have started as they did last week. In top gear. Goes down towards the pocket. Angled run from McVeigh. Reaching over the top. Hibbert did well. He thumps it out of bounds. It will be thrown in.
Already you're seeing, boys, that Sydney have got them running at 80% kicking efficiency and Essendon are running at 56%. So they just put enormous pressure on the Essendon midfielders, the Swans.
Ryder and Derickx. Ryder won it. Hanbury passed through, missed the football. Ryder again, butted up and looking for Stanton. Stanton knocks it down towards the wing, coming up to meet the football. I think it's Ambrose. He's tackled by Laidler. Boundary throw in.
He's only played 3 games, Ambrose, but you feel like they're a better team with him in there, to be honest. He was fantastic against the Hawks. Kennedy chasing hard, almost brought down, gets a handball away to the boundary line, and a boundary throw in. Josh Kennedy, we talked a fair bit about him pre-match. Stu Bolton spoke to him, looked at his numbers alongside Joe Watson, and there they are, those two together. They're a likely matchup, aren't they? Two absolute great midfielders. Hanbury belting it forward. Dempsey trying to get it away. Goods. Franklin on the wrong side immediately for him. Stanton. Franklin worried him out of it. Bird got involved. Touched off the boot. Jettas kicked the full forward. Tippett made a really good contest. Dempsey's hands were good. To Hibbert, to Melsham. They've run it out pretty well. Goddard normally good with ball in hand. That's a brilliant kick. Danaher couldn't quite. Then they get into his back slightly. Good pressure from Grundy. On the ups are Harakas. Well, they just worried him out of it. Back to Rampy.
Wasn't he terrific, eh? Rampy goes inside the forward 50, intended for Tippett, knocked away. McVeigh trying to get through that pack, and I think he's going to get a free kick.
Coming into it. You're on the move. You're on the move.
He's got that Ryan Crowley smile with Michael Hibbert.
Now, that was exactly the type of play that Bomber Thompson expected from the Swans. It was an outnumber at the contest. It was more frenetic.
Right on the numbers then. Jared McVeigh runs wide to get extra distance, and I tell you what, he didn't need it. That's gone into the crowd on the full. Swans looking ominous.
What do you reckon, Lee? Tom?
Well, the ruling is...
Play on. I'd go play on.
The only defence for the umpire there, if Hibbert was stationary, but the fact he was on the move, they've deemed it too high.
And that's the point that was made. So a couple of free kicks, 150-metre penalty, I should say, and 3 goals. Sydney have been brilliant. Hanbury getting the ball to half forward. Bagley. You certainly need a response here. Probing kick. Now, Ryder's in a good spot. That's a terrific mark. Just too tall for Richards. He's got a long leg, but he decides to give it to another guy with a wrong leg, but he ran into a dead end. Myers out wide. Wayne, you're up here in the box with us. I mean, this is just the start that the Swans wanted, and the Bombers are in a hole, aren't they?
Yeah, it is. The other thing, I mean, the key forwards in the Sydney forward line aren't marking it, but they're so predictable to one another. It doesn't matter. They know that it's going to a contest, and they're at their feet. So far, they're getting the goals from the smaller forwards and midfielders.
Derickx knocked it down. Cunningham, quick kick away. Dempsey did nicely. Worked in front. Dragged down eventually by Swan, but not before he got the ball across to a teammate. All that work eventually for Nort. Will have a boundary throw in.
Tim and Jude, with your intimate knowledge of both clubs, Who would you send Heath Hocking to if you're in the Bombers coaching box?
I think you'd have to send Hocking to the source, which is actually Josh Kennedy right at the source. You've got to stop him.
Stanton went to ground. Hanbury at the feet of Jack. How is that? They're good mates. That was intuitive as it came back to Hanbury, and now it's going to be a free kick to Franklin. Franklin looks to the middle, just pops it to space, and McVeigh will line up at his second.
This has been a role for the Swans that's really worked for them since the two forwards have come in. It was Kieran Jack for a large portion last year, but to have a really high-quality midfielder who can drag the ball himself and kick goals is just huge.
He's never kicked multiple goals against the Bombers. A bad place to start right here. That looks good. 2 in the space of, 4 minutes. 24 to Zipperuni, halfway through the term.
What a bonus when you kick the ball outside 50 and kick a goal. And we've seen McVeigh do it basically twice in 5 minutes, haven't we? Terrific result. And gee, Essendon are in an absolute pickle here. Myers, Fletcher, Jack was a bit indiscriminate. Bagley was a bit lucky, I think. Jack might have been a bit lucky too. He really slashed in there. Stanton brought down. Hanbury can't get it. Tim, I've just got to ask you, I mean, what happens here for Essendon? I mean, someone's got to make a stand. Something's got to happen.
Well, they've got to get their hands on the ball for a start, and then when they do, they've got to actually be able to control the ball, and they've had a really nervous start. They just have fumbled so many times and then kicked to the wrong player. So great pressure from Sydney, though, too.
Hand pass to the wrong player as well. Bagley gave it to Myers, who was in no position to receive it. But he butters up again. Stolen off his boot by a teammate, Zaharakis. Runs to the outer side for Sanctuary. Now he comes back to Dempsey. They look rattled. Heppel, he never does. Hibbert all the way back. Hurley. Hurley is playing his 89th career game tonight. Dustin Fletcher is playing his 89th Friday night game. Nice by Hooker over the top to Hibbert.
You've been doing a lot of adding up this week, Dan. Love it.
Had some time, Bruce.
Merritt. This is the Zach one. And they're not worth a Zach right now, the Bombers, but they will come back out of play.
They kick the ball backwards and sideways more than any team in the competition, Essendon, and it just allows the Sydney halfbacks, namely Reece Shaw and Nick Malcheski, to set up. Dane Rampy also ready for the slingshot turnover.
And the irony about tonight so far, 4 goals, but none from all those glamour forwards we talked about. They've all come from the mids, basically. Shows the variety. There's Goddard. Goddard with a twirly one forward. Danaher, that was good. Merrilsham. Now, can he straighten it up? No, he doesn't. It's a poor result. It was a tight kick in the end and a boundary throw in the forward pocket. So at least Essendon in that forward 50 here with a stoppage.
Was he trying to get that to right?
He was, yeah. I mean, that was as far as degree of difficulty, he actually had to kick that inside out. He was far better off having a shot.
Well done by Reid. In trouble, Kennedy. Bird over the football now. Hocking is in there as well for the Bombers, and the umpire will ball it up.
Shows the value of Tippett. They're using him as the key forward. They're not going to risk him as the ruckman. Sam Reid's going to back up Derickx in the ruck.
Well done by Ryder. Heppel ran into a dead end and still got his kick off. And just narrowly misses.
He looks to me, Sam Reid, as someone who could really develop and adapt to a really good centre-half back. He's quick. He's got great, strong hands. He can just dish the ball off to the ball users that the Swans have across half-back. I think he's got a huge future there.
Good tackle, got him down, Goddard. Well, this might be the circuit breaker. This might be the turning point in the opening quarter. They needed a break. Goddard went in hard, got Smith down.
Really took on the tackle. I mean, you thought, what's he doing here? Maybe just thought he'd take on the tackle, get his hands cleared right off the handball, but Goddard pinned the arms. Good turnover.
Hasn't been great on the set shots, but he's such a beautiful kick. He's got it. He's a good player, isn't he? That's what the game needed and what the Bombers needed. They're on the board.
If you thought that last one was good, Bruce, how about this? Goddard, first goal for the Bombers in their last 3 games.
You have had some time. You've had some time this week, haven't you?
That was on the run too. I had to factor that in. Back in the middle, Bird goes down towards half forward. McVeigh being dangerous. Oh, well played by Lloyd. Like him a lot. Forward of the pack, taken by Cunningham. Feeds it back. Reid goes wide. Bird down towards the pocket. Tippett put his big body in front. Manages to get boot to ball. It's gone out of bounds. Well, they crossed the boundary line, I'd suggest, before it went out of bounds on the full. So you understand.
Can you feed me a couple? I don't feel like I've got enough stuff tonight.
Hang on. I'm loaded tonight.
Tippett work to the front, so he's doing that ruck work in the forward 50. Kennedy back to Parker, back to Bird, hooking back to a dangerous spot. Well done, Stanton. Myers couldn't get his foot to the ball. McVeigh and Heppel. McVeigh, well done, Tippett to get rid of Heppel. Parker from the pocket. Oh, yes! Spectacular!
Isn't it valuable having midfielders in and around a stoppage in the forward 50 because they win the ball, because that's what they do around the clearances, and have a natural knack for goal.
Well, he's kicked 2 and McVeigh 2 and Kennedy 1.
Yeah, all the medium sizes. Yeah, I mean, that ability to put the ball across the boot, curve it, control the flight, it's something we see just players do so regularly. It just looks easy, but it's not that easy.
He's 21 years of age. You feel like he's been around a bit longer. I mean, he's really something, isn't he?
He reeks of captaincy, I reckon. For a young player, he's played to the level straight away.
Tom, that's a big call.
I just think he's come in, he plays a hard style of football. He's inherited a bit of Jude Bolton about him, I reckon.
123 points, high praise. Belchambers down to Watson, towards half forward. Zaharakis takes it on the bounce. Hot one. Stanton did well. Boot to ball, but not effective. Smith's in the road to Bird. Around the outer side, punishing kick. Not taken cleanly by Lloyd, but he fights on. Only as far as Watson with some time. More than he knew, although McVeigh was closing. Bagley, nice U-turn. He's at half-back. McVeigh, good pressure. Affects the kick. Showed a lot of it to Derickx, and that's all he needed. Knocked it down. Kennedy in trouble. Stolen away by Zach Merritt. Waiting for it. Zaharakis thumped away. Oh, Smith did well. Grundy gave it across to Milcheski. And the ball goes to the outer side and runs out of bounds. Well, it was a half chance. And the Essendon crowd not happy that this wasn't paid a mark. And I reckon, certainly in slow motion, it was.
He controlled it for a moment, didn't he?
Good spoil, I think.
No, play on. Yep.
Hocking ducking down. Now in trouble. Oh.
Essendon. Straight to him.
Interesting call, was it? Because he took a while, the ump, but the high tackle for Hocking. So the tempo of the game has risen. That one Essendon goal made a difference, but Parker getting it back. Malcheski, clever enough. Parker trying to twist and turn, holding up really well. And a boundary throw in. Feel like Essendon are sort of back in the game a little bit. I mean, I know Sydney have got the last goal, but pushing forward here, the Bombers. Needing the next, obviously.
Belchambers and Derickx. Belchambers won it down. Stanton slapped it forward. Jenner was tackled. John out of there. Now Hocking goes after it. Watson has been busy. Hugs the boundary line with a kick. Danaher taken under the flight of the football. Goddard across towards Ambrose. Smothered off the boot. Malcheski knew where the help was. Went back to Rampy. Rampy along the boundary line. Kennedy, clever kick. Well, no, it wasn't. He kept it low. Watson jumped over the football, but the kick not low enough to bounce in the field of play. Here's Goddard.
To wind it up, and then he tried to lace it out, but Parker got in the road. Oh, Hanbury gets a high one and a free kick. They spread. Franklin, clever mark. But he's kicked the ball beautifully tonight. He's kept on finding targets. And another one with Lloyd. Lloyd, that's a neat-looking kick. Tippett. Well played at the back, though, by Hooker. Back to Hibberd. Hibberd, Myers. Back to Fletcher. Sits and waits. Handball to Hibberd. Hibberd back to Fletcher. Run down. Little kick to Myers. Myers off that step. He's got a good leg. Look at that. Kicked it 60 metres down the line. Sydney with the numbers. Back to Richards. Of course, a former Bomber. Great mate of the Watsons, Grundy, and then the little kick by Smith is a good one. And Jack, their field kicking, I think Jude mentioned it earlier, their field kicking percentage efficiency is really good at the moment.
Look sharp, don't they? Finished sharp last week. Up ahead, Franklin and Tippett. It's Tippett who attracts the footy and almost took the mark. Hanbury, Lloyd, 7th possession coming up for him. Just manages a hand pass that time. Tippett goes back to Hanbury. Had 40 last week. He sends it down towards the pocket. Goddard. Melksham stood up in the tackle. Breaking free is Kennedy. Got the arms free. Parker a half chance. Knocked away by Hibberd. Taken by Franklin. Cunningham goes back to Derickx. Oh, don't tell me the journeyman unloads. The revenge of the recycle. It's through for a goal. Fantastic.
Really great footage here. This is the challenge of having Franklin and Tip. Watch Hurley here. He goes to help out Tip. It leaves Franklin out the back. Double guesses himself, and he ends up in no man's land. Actually gets himself hurt. Didn't impact the Tippett contest there. So that's the value of having two real key targets in your forward 50.
Ryder got up high, but Kennedy got it to Parker, to Hanbury. So 6 straight goals tonight. 4 goals, 8 last week in the opening term. So what a difference. They have been so clean with the ball. And Shaw takes the mark on centre wing. Might have hurt himself. Came down. Just gathers himself.
I think where the game has changed a little bit the last 5 minutes is, I think around the footy, Essendon are doing OK, but just going forward, the Swans just so much more dangerous.
Good fly from the back by Ryder.
Hanbury in trouble. Gee. Boy, Lloyd is doing wonderfully well. Jetta inside the forward 50, misses the target. Franklin on the lead, marked behind him by Hooker. Fletcher, now Hibbert. Coming back at the football, Stanton. Kick goes longer. Danaher just edged off it nicely by Cunningham. Kennedy, run down from behind is Rampy. Well done by Zach Merritt. Taken by Hurley, slips it away. Goddard feeds it back. This is Hibbert, just outside the defensive 50. Lowers the eyes with precision. Got it to Watson. Stanton, some urgency there as he pushes forward. Hocking in 2 minds. Just bounces his way out of trouble. Still going. Oh, but at the last moment, he was grabbed, but not before the kick was on line to Merritt. Watson butters up again. Melcham dances off the 50, hammers it across to Danaher, tries to fend off Reed, comes back to Goddard, trying to run around Rampy. Rampy took him down. Now it's Reed, heard the voice, but missed the target. Goddard. Well done by young Zach. As he pushes it across, I thought for a moment he played it to his brother. Zaharakis is taken down after Merritt tried a little finesse work, a little DIY.
Some good stuff there. Great tackling pressure. Essendon just need to close the gap on the board.
Walk, Essendon. Walk. Where you are.
So can Ryder do something with this? A couple of kicks away. We know he's got a long leg. Decide short. Danaher marks.
Right there, hold there.
Long way from goal.
Need to engage the +1 here, Essendon. It's Jeremy Laidler at the moment, just sitting 35 metres out from goal.
Yeah, but it wasn't 15, so he coughs it up. And Jetta takes the mark. So that's a disappointing result for Essendon. And short to Kennedy.
Stay out. Hey, Joe,
So Kennedy and Watson, just looking at those two, Watson's had 10 disposals and Kennedy's on 9, so it's a pretty good match.
hold there.
Sam Reed on the outer side.
Good on. Play on.
Just forward of right half back. Kicks it high. Derickx is the target. Flies from behind. Move the pack. Sydney had a run on that football behind the pack, but got an unkind bounce, did Goods. Just as well for Essendon. Boundary throw in. Goods has been quiet. Yet to register a possession. His teammates have had plenty. It's 105-86 at the moment total. Sydney, of course, on top. Goddard tried hard in this term. Jetta in trouble. Simply put the ball down. Kennedy goes back to Derickx. Off balance, Parker gives it to Jack on the lead. Franklin. And that was really good by Franklin. Not always a one-grab man in that situation, but that time he was.
Yeah, certainly looks really strongly on the lead, doesn't he?
I mean, one of the things we've always thought about Buddy, just this last 2 or 3 years, he's more like a half-forward flanker, mainly a ground-level player. Just hasn't looked like he's strong out in front of his eyes, but these last couple of weeks he's certainly regained that. It's almost like the Franklin of 2008 when he was just, every part of his game was supreme.
Well, last work, this wasn't supreme. 2-7. But let's see what he can do here. Lance Franklin directly in front, kicks from 45. Oh, that spells trouble. He's on song as well. Swans on target. This has been very, very impressive. 7 straight.
Well, 7 straight behinds last week, and that's his first shot tonight. He's been very efficient so far tonight. He's looked the goods. So this has been a remarkable opening term by the Swans. 7 straight. So McVeigh, Parker getting it forward again. Dempsey trying to get through. Heppel back to Hurley. They've been so much on the back foot, and then Fletcher Neat kick. Zach Merritt takes the mark. She's a promising young boy, this one. Taken in the draft last year. Just 18 years of age. You don't get many 18-year-olds playing. I know he'll turn 19 this year, but back to Fletcher. At 39 years of age. You don't get many 39-year-olds playing these days either. Fletcher down the line, not a good kick. Bird had to wait, but he takes the mark. Now he's got a couple of options. Tippett's the long one in. Good shorter. He's going to set it up now. Tippett and Hooker, and getting across early, couldn't take the mark. Tippett back to Reid. Does Reid? No, he doesn't get enough hook, and it's a behind.
I think it's before the season started, we thought that probably Hawthorn, Fremantle, the 2 grand finals from last year, then Swans, Tippett fit and Franklin in. They were the top 3, and I must say, started slowly, but now they got the team together, the Swans. Good defence, good midfield, an absolute star-studded in the forward 6.
Got out short to the pocket. Zach Merritt. He's back to the square, and Goddard. More experienced hands then. He sends it out towards the defensive 50. Heppel did nicely. Ghosting across in front of Shaw. Now he's under pressure. Looks for a target. Well, he found a man amongst 3 targets. Burt takes the mark for Sydney. 43 plays 7. I guess you could say typical scoreline when Buddy plays the Bombers. Only tonight the colours are different. And he hasn't been really a star up for just the 1 goal so far. But he's looked pretty good. And really now, as he takes a well-deserved seat, you feel for the Bombers. They need the next couple at least to try and just restore some balance. Stop this momentum that is wearing red and white.
Now they've been brilliant, the Swans. Ryder and Reid, Parker so much of this opening term, Hanbury, Jetta, just looks in great nick, Jetta, doesn't he? And that's a interesting kick, but a good one, I think, to Jack. Now, Jack's got Rampy. He's just buying some time here. Slow ball coming in. Good mark. Protected at Lloyd. We've talked a bit about him, Lloyd. We like his intelligence. Feel like he's got a really good footy brain. How many's he up to, Den?
This will be his 9th, Bruce.
And he brings the champion, into good. So, Good's first disposal for him.
Thank you.
Exactly where he should be, Adams. Good's late in his career. He's almost just the cream to their forward line. They don't depend on him, but he's just still capable of having some fantastic cameos.
Well, that was a little one into a one-on-one, which Reid, Hanbury, back Malcheski, good smother, just got through Lloyd on the up Hocking, back to Melsham.
Here's Fletcher inside the defensive 50, jams it on the boot. Well, no Bombers out there. Grundy tracks it towards the boundary as the siren sounds. It's quarter time. And what a powerful quarter it was by the Sydney Swans. They lead 7-1, 43-117. Think about their inaccuracy last week and compare that to tonight. Footy's a funny game. Friday night, we love them, and Sydney, a lot to like. Second term on Friday Night Football. Not a bad crowd either. But a little dismayed. Most of them Bomber fans. Tackle applied there on Kennedy by Hocking, taken by Ryder. Kicks it forward, bounces down towards the attacking 50. Getting in the road is Smith. A high ball towards the wing. Almost the mark there to Lloyd. Well played, Melksham. That was clever. Got it down to Merritt. He was dragged to the ground. In goes Lloyd once more. Applies a tackle on Hocking. And the ball is not going to come out of there. They'll have a ball up.
So we saw a lot of Joe Watson and Josh Kennedy in that opening term. Talked about them pre-match. 6-goal margin at the moment. You'd be a hard call, wouldn't it? One or the other, eh? Those 2 big midfielders. So, as Dennis said, they've just got to, bit by bit here, they've got to win this quarter by a couple of goals, you think, Essendon. That's all. I mean, it's a big target, I know, but they're not going to get the 6 back in one term, you'd think. You're chuckling, Den.
I just saw something funny. I thought, Bruce, on the field. Doesn't matter.
Kennedy. You see a lot of good things, I reckon. Here's Jetta on the burst. Good kick. Changed the direction. Gave Tippett a chance. Hooker's been good there. Parker. Goal sneak, we know. Handball. Jack.
We spoke last week, Bruce, about with the Hawthorn-Sydney game, the form that Lewis Jettison at the moment. He's right back to 2012 when he was in the All-Australians 40. He's covering the ground exceptionally well and using it so well.
And I need some levity right now. What was it, Tim?
Fletcher to bring it in, Bruce. Well, it was Smith who was lying on the ground. There was a guy lying on top of him. The ball had rolled about 10 feet away, but he felt obliged to try and get rid of it anyway. He didn't have a ball. He was simulating. Most odd what players do these days. The rules have got in their heads. Down goes Heppel on the outer side. They will have a ball up. It's funny when you saw it, Bruce. 44-7. Derickx conscious of Ryder, who had the leap. Derickx gets the crumb, though. Aylett tries to knock it out of the pack, then falls into the back of his Swan. No free kick. Emerging with the football is Jack. Slick hands away. Nicely done there. That was beautifully worked by Smith initially. Flies out to Melchevsky. He kicks it down towards the pocket. Just bounces off the toe there of Hooker, then the heel, and goes out of bounds.
It's been really good, Hooker. I think at some stage during the night we're going to see Hurley up across half forward and do something different, because Essendon just need a transition player. He's been at some stages of his career, Hurley, giving you that sort of hard-moving centre half forward type, pushing up the midfield. They need something like that.
Tippett tried to lay it down. Ryder did a bit of roving. Hooker, good hands. Fletcher improvising. Bagley. Stanton, slow ball coming out. Zach Merritt, well done. Little give. Stanton running hard. Melsham tucked it under his arm. Couldn't get around Melchevsky. Back to Stanton. Off first step. Ambrose, good mark. That's strong. I know Tim's a big fan of this guy. He's explosive. He does bring something to their forward line. Danaher's the fly. Grundy. McVeigh. Oh, God. Good tackle.
It's been really good, Zach Merritt. For a young player, he's now come out for his 9th disposal. He's been good in the contest also.
Looks towards the middle, goes to Heppel. Gets there in the nick of time. Running a step late, Hanbury. So Heppel, turned 22 on Wednesday. Punishing kick inside the forward 50. Up in front, Bill Chambers. But the ball coming in rather slowly and too easy for Richards to destroy it out of bounds.
Tommy, hold that meter.
Have to be content with his start. Have to be content too with what he's got on the park tonight. Falls behind the pack and last week. Hanbury, quick hand, Shaw. Bird, a useful player, sends it towards the outer side. It bounces right on the numbers. Coming up is Franklin. Left the ball behind. Dempsey. Going in was Grundy. He socketed away. Hurley, not much space there. And he took the ball across the boundary line, and the boundary umpire was only about 10 metres away.
One goal to Franklin in the opening term, couple of score assists. He's looked up and about. Hasn't wasted one yet. Derickx against Ryder. Derickx with that goal in the opening term. Heppel back turning. Ball squeezing out the back. Dempsey getting a high one against Derickx. He kept down low, Dempsey. He's a line breaker, isn't he? If he can, he's got his hands full with Jetta for a lot of the night so far. Heppel, so they haven't gained anything there. Hurley with a control kick. Good mark, Goddard. That was a good contest, and he held it well. He's the lone goal scorer for the Bombers tonight.
Going for distance, very high ball inside the forward 50, but very deep to the pocket. Easy again for Richards, just punching away from Bill Chambers. It's out of bounds.
Do need a tall target that's really mobile at the moment across half forward. You're right there, Lee. Danaher often 2 out, and then Bill Chambers is the lone ball long in. It's not working for them.
Derickx in front. Bill Chambers tries to flick it behind. Derickx again gathers the ball on the bounce. He's working hard as he did last week. He's impressive. You can see that he's a limited player, but gee, from time to time he makes light of those limitations and giving away a bit of size as well. Again, very conscious of the taller man. Bill Chambers won it down, but stolen away by Shaw. Taken by Jack White of the pack. Sends a high ball towards the wing. Carried under it was Tippett. That was clever by Hooker, as much as it didn't result in a free kick. Mark was taken on the outer side, and now they can break. Tippett gets the football and comes across the ground. This is Bagley. Goes back to the middle, and Dempsey. Hooker runs for him. Hurley, who took the mark on the outer side, cruises past as well. He ignores both. Gets inside the forward 50. Now a chance for Zaharakis. Picked it up, then lost it. Hanbury looking to fend off. It spills across to Laidler. Laidler goes down the line. Nicely worked McVeigh. Across towards Shaw. Kicks to half forward. Tippett.
He's had a terrific battle with Hooker, hasn't he? I mean, he's had his hands on a few Tibbet, but Hooker's been very good so far. And Franklin with strength against Hurley.
He just looked at Hurley with disdain. I think that's the term.
Don't take this the wrong way. That was a bit of you, Wayne Carey, there. I reckon just sent the one out.
You've been coaching him, have you, Duck?
Duck, his marking in the last 2 weeks has been so impressive.
Yeah, look, I think if you look back to 2008 when he kicked 100 goals, he marked the ball very well. I don't think he's done that since. He's in great form right now, and I think back then we thought he could be the best forward we've ever seen in terms of athlete. He's back to that form tonight.
You didn't take that personally at the time, Wayne, when Lee said that, did you?
No, not at all.
I never said that.
So, what a good-looking kick, eh? He's hammered it home. He's kicked a couple.
Boys, it comes back to the switch. The initial switch came to Bagley, and then he looked back inboard. It just kills the forward movement. When the big switch goes across ground, it needs to go into the forward line. In the end, it comes back and goes straight down to Franklin.
Bill Chambers looking for Myers. Stanton quickly. Hibbert, a lot of the football, gets a second chance there. Floats it towards half forward. Rampy leads back in the race with that conviction, though. Since they were coming from behind. This is Grundy out wide. Taken by young Lloyd, looks back inside. He's been impressive, but not that time. Ambrose, another youngster, chops it off, looks towards full forward. Ryder gets a one-out contest, but it falls in short. And Richards, a former Bomber, takes a timely mark. Goes to Melchevsky. Melchevsky in the goal square, across towards the leading target, and it's taken out there by Jeddah.
Gee, the hands there were so impressive from Jeddah. It was a hard kick. It had to be from Melchevsky. Cunningham's got some space. Decided not to use the run of Jack. Comes back inboard to Parker.
Stay there, Michael. Hold.
Gee, suddenly, every time you call a Swans play, you think they're a gun, don't you? I mean, there you go. Parker kicks it straight at the opposition, but you feel their depth's amazing. Hibbert, good kick. Watson had a big opening term. He's been slowed down here. Now he needs to find a target. The gaps have closed, and that's a clever kick. And Derickx takes the mark. He's interesting, Derickx. I feel like he's just marking time a little bit. He's a fine talent. Just don't know if he's taken the next step. Tim, is that too hard a call on him, do you think, with Derickx or not?
No, he hasn't had a great year. His best year was when he won the best and fairest a couple of years ago, but he hasn't been able to get back to that form consistently.
He's normally a pretty good kick, and they need it, and he's got it home. That'll help.
David Derickx, only his third goal of the season. You can see the sequence there. They're outgunned at the moment, the Bombers, but it's a step in the right direction. The margin 37. It was 36 at quarter time. Bell Chambers, Watson, cleverly down to Stanton. The two veterans combined. Stanton inside the forward 50. Ambrose was up. Chance for Myers, trying to work the angles. Ambrose, Melksham thought about trying to split the difference. Comes to Myers. That's an ambitious kick. He bounces it down towards Ryder. Ryder went to ground. That could have been in the back against Aylett as the ball rolls out of bounds. Hanbury thinks so. He appeals. We've got a boundary throw in.
Terrific matchup. Sorry, Dennis. Kennedy and Watson are actually matched up at the moment. Very rarely do you see the two guns actually body to body at these contests.
Derickx and Ryder at the back. Hocking, clever kick. Oh, just missing. Might have even touched that post wrong side.
Well, they're both such difficult matchups because they're big-bodied inside midfielders. So I guess you take a 50-50 contest from those two.
And they together again. Kennedy to Jeddah. So clean at the moment, Jeddah. Kennedy, Watson to run him down. We'd like to see more of that, don't we? The champs against one another. Bell Chambers caught up. Heppel getting it out a little bit. Merritt over the top of that. Jackson Merritt. And that ball not out. Umpire thinking about it. And now penalising.
All three, yes, play on.
Now Chesky gets it from Bird. Oh, took a while. Good kick, though.
A beauty. Jack. Full tilt, got to the football just inside this centre square. Goes down towards half-forward Franklin. 55 metres out. This will test him. He's got two. He wants to move it quickly. Beats the man on the mark. Just shrugs off a tackle. Kicks from 45 now. Slides it right across the face of goal. And through for a minor score. Well, the idea was okay. And that says something about his confidence.
Wayne, we know the record that Lance Franklin has against Essendon. When you've got that sort of domination over a club, do you think it does play out that way?
It does. I think you certainly can go into games where you've had a good record against clubs, and he looks as confident as I've seen him for a long time. And he's got a touch of arrogance tonight.
Lukathon Goddard to Zaharakis to Danaher. Defensive side of the wing. Looks back to the corridor. Hibbert had to stretch. Goes to the centre circles and then to half forward with the footy. Up comes Watson, right on the numbers, trying to back off. Richards, they're good mates. Richards coming at him. The centering kick from Watson. A lot of Swans at the football, fisted away. Opportunity for Bird, quick thinking. He was under pressure. Gave it to Richards. Richards goes all the way back. Reece Shaw's got it now. Short one is on to Smith.
So Smith. Short kick, okay. No problems there. Laidler. Richards. A running bounce, and then Teddy delivers. Not a great kick, but he's got it. Fletcher was in the prime position, and Franklin, who had kicked 96 goals at Etihad Stadium in 29 matches coming in. So not only does he play well against the Bombers, he's slightly above his career average at this stadium. I think under the roof he'd love these conditions, don't you?
Yeah, he's just in the right place at the right time there.
Fletcher then doesn't very often misjudge those aerial ball, Fletcher, but I think he just maybe is a bit worried who is in the vicinity to mark it.
So he averages 5 goals against the Bombers, and he's kicked 3.
That's good numbers.
Yep. 20 possessions last week. Gave away 6 free kicks, though. It was hard to work out his true value last week, but tonight, no doubting it. Well done. Knocked down the throat of Kennedy, who kicks inside the forward 50. Getting back is Dempsey. The defence under pressure. Hurley goes to the veteran Fletcher. Forward to Goddard. Runs outside the 50. Looked up, nothing to kick to. Swings it back to the middle. And he finds Dempsey, who'd pushed up. That's a clever kick under pressure. Man on the mark, working hard, but Bagley still had the ball delivered nicely. Here's Melksham. Need so much from the players who've been really cited so far. They've had 1 or 2 players, Essendon, and that's it. Melksham goes with the left boot down towards the 50. Bit of a compromised decision there. Rampy able to punch it away. Grundy, consummate professional, under pressure, hooks it very high. Melksham off balance. Did cleverly if he intended that. Bagley. In goes Zaharakis, tackles Kennedy, fell at their feet, Bird on his knees, gives it across towards Parker. Parker stumbled, tried to kick it out of there. Jackson Merritt, he was tackled. Down goes Kennedy again. And we're going to have a ball up on the outer side, I would imagine. Hard to see much coming of that.
Tom and Lee, is it time to bring Carlisle onto Franklin and maybe send Hurley forward? Would you do something as a radical?
You have to do something pretty radical, aren't you? I mean, I've broken half time at least, but the game might be just completely gone by then.
Zaharakis, neat kick, good pick up by Ambrose, couldn't quite. Swans pressure, good. Watson got it off Hanbury, switches it back. Goddard, rare fumble for him, gets it to Merritt. Jackson Merritt back to Watson, little tunnel one. Hocking, Sydney with all the answers at the moment in the back, through to the Swans in the back half.
Further to that point, Lee, Mark Thompson, when he spoke to Tim Watson, he was talking about Carlisle very much as an interchange player, wasn't he? And concerned clearly about Tom Bell-Chambers. Well, he's had no influence on the game whatsoever.
I'd be very surprised if it doesn't happen at half-time, but that's why he's suggesting maybe even at this point you might have to roll the dice and have the punt.
Kick down the line, so Hanbury up to 14. His last 3 weeks have been 29, 34, 31 and 40, Hanbury. He's in a very rich vein of form. Merritt, Ambrose and Rampy boundary throw. Thought Rampy was shaky last week, liked him a lot tonight.
Yeah, when the game was really hot early, he rose with the team as they came hard late at the end of the game. But it's been a great story coming out of suburban football in Sydney from University of New South Wales.
Bell-Chambers in front. Derickx wins this one down. Goddard with 16 possessions, tackled by Kennedy. Ball fell at his feet. Holding the ball.
Let the ball go.
Well, obviously, the umpire thought that Goddard had clean possession or could have done something with it in any case. Meantime, 16 possessions for Kennedy. Gave it to Lloyd. Oh, what a catch. More a catch than a mark, that one. He was off balance. He was falling back, and it stuck.
Maybe ask that question again, Doug.
Yeah, exactly.
I changed my top 7 at half-time.
Look, Richo said last week that he took 5 contested marks out of his 10 last week. He's taken 4, I think, already tonight. I mean, that's where he's improved.
Outstanding. This for his 100th goal at this venue. And he's been a dead-eye dick tonight. He puts it through. And the margin close to 50.
Lee, we saw your top 7 in the countdown. Now, is Franklin edging towards somewhere?
You've got to earn your win over a few weeks, Bruce. Not in a half a footy.
Okay. Just asking, just checking. Okay. Watson.
Having said that, can I change it in half time?
Here's Derickx. He's on 598 career goals, by the way. The same number as Pavlich, who plays his 300th tomorrow, as we know. On the up, Fletcher gets it back to Bagley. Bagley to Hooker. And then Hooker to Goddard, who's had so much of the ball, shoved in the back. Goddard, back to Goddard, back to Stanton. Stanton around the body, tumbling ball. Heppel and Lloyd there. Rampy working it in front, hasn't taken control, flipped out the back. Melsham, Watson, industrious as always. Hocking. Now here might be some run. Hibbert's a good kick.
And away on his left foot, which helps. Goes long down towards full forward. Bell Chambers in position A, although backing into him, Richards made it difficult. Close to the boundary line. Zaharakis arrives quickly, but the boundary line is too close.
It was a real risk playing Bell Chambers tonight because of his conditioning, and he just looks all at sea. His timing is completely out down there at the moment.
Yes, he certainly mistimed that jump. Boundary throw in. Just over 6 minutes. Well done. It comes behind the pack, and Hocking snaps a goal. Bell Chambers managing to get it behind, and the opportunist goal from Heath Hocking.
So they haven't been able to get consecutive goals tonight, the Bombers. Hocking joins Zaharakis and Goddard. Let's see if they can make any inroads at all. Watson working so hard and usually so well. Zaharakis worried out of it. Sure, that was clever. Jack did well, just swirled the hips. Bird, who does fly under the radar, doesn't he? The handball by Hannah Bree. Twisting and turning, Lloyd gone. On the ball. Just the pace. He's going to be good, Lloyd. Just the pace of the game every now and then, I think, gets him, don't you?
The young players who have come in the side, Lloyd, Brandon Jack, Harry Cunningham, all elevated rookies. I mean, they're getting great bang for their buck out of their recruiting.
So Bagley goes down the line.
Danaher works in front, but jostled out of it. It's going to be a free kick. Advantage is paid. Danaher finishes up with the foot. He runs it and kicks the goal. It was going to be his free kick, and he reaps the benefit.
Kind of ground level agility that makes you think he's just going to be a really good player. At the moment, he can't do what he's going to do when he's strong enough, like hold his position in the air for that overhead mark, but he's so agile at ground level. When he gets the aerial stuff, he's going to be good.
Hocking. So Essendon 3-1 in this term. Buddy's kicked 3-1 in this term as well, and one other behind for the Swans. So as Dennis said, it's parity at the moment. The next 5 minutes tell a bit of a tale. If Essendon get 1 or 2 and Sydney don't, then they've done their job in the second quarter. Of course, the other way, and it's perhaps the blowout that a lot of people might be thinking. Melsham there with Doc Reed. So just checking around the eyes, I think, and maybe how clear the head is. Ryder. There's Cunningham. Jack's stats this year are really interesting. Every game this year, he's actually got a higher number. He's been building all the way up to last weekend when he's got 29. So Heppel short got it from Watson. Gee, Watson, how many's Job had in the opening half so far? He's up to 18.
I tell you what, on the evidence you just gave us, Bruce, you'd tag Jack in the grand final if they get there.
Well, just very quickly, Denny's 14, 19, 19, 20, 23, 26, 29.
Kick that towards half forward. In front of the pack, Heppel knocked it away from a teammate, showed courage to find it on the deck, gets it to Bell Chambers. There's a surge coming from the Bombers. And Zaharakis slides in to take the mark. About 35 metres out. Quite a sharp angle, but the angle certainly will open up for the right footer. So for the moment at least, the Bombers running and taking their opportunities, creating their opportunities. This to finish. This would be something. No, never online.
Good confidence boost there for Tom Bell Chambers. They had the numbers at the contest there, the Swans, but too slick the ball movement from the Bombers. Back-to-back goals is what they really need.
Well, they've had a good 5 or 10 minutes.
So look at Jack go. Gee, he's a hard runner. He just charges from side to side, end to end.
And I think Hocking has got the job on him at the moment. Goods couldn't free kick. 50 metres.
50.
Just lack of concentration, I guess, isn't it? It's pretty slack to do that.
Sometimes it's just a skill error. You're trying to throw the ball back 30 metres, you can only throw it 20. I mean, it's an automatic 50-metre penalty, but I don't think anyone is deliberately not giving the ball back. Yeah.
So Goodsy, he's had a quiet night so far. He hasn't missed a set shot this year. He hasn't played a whole lot of footy. And he gets it. So another champ's on the board. Goes past Bobby Skilton, by the way. One more goal than the great Bobby Skilton. He's number 5 on the all-time list now at Sydney, behind Bob Pratt, Michael O'Loughlin, Barry Hall and Tony Lockett. They're not bad names, are they?
Let's have a look at this. I guess Fletcher just maybe grabbed his arms. It wasn't much of a free kick. Let's have a look at this. This Hurley, he tries to hand pass it back, but only makes... I guess he's got to make sure it gets there, even if you've got to kick it to him or something.
It's a byproduct of playing on Lance Franklin. He sees Lance Franklin duck out the back. I've got to get this ball back as quick as possible.
I'm off.
You mentioned Kieran Jack had an ankle injury at the start of the season. He is real. That gut-running lead from half-back was something else.
Margin 42 points. Bill Chambers finding his leap and his touch at the moment. Knocks it down in front. Going to ground was Kennedy. Slapped out of there by Goddard. Well done by Smith. Smothered the Stanton kick. Zaharakis has been busy. Forward it goes to Watson. Inside the forward 50, Ryder.
That's a beautiful kick. I mean, Ryder had the space. That's the idea with the play with the ball. Kick the ball to the space where the forward can move into it. And Watson just positioned it perfectly.
He's up to 19 possessions now, Joe Watson. So, huge kick for Paddy Ryder. Derickx has taken them all on. One would think he should wilt after half-time. Such is the volume of work, and Ryder capitalises after the mark and puts it through. So we're back to the quarter-time margin.
Much better spread from Essendon there from the stoppage. Just got that quick handball out, and then just this lowering of the eyes from Jove up here. Just this spread.
Jude Bolton down there with Tim Watson, two greats of these respective clubs, both 300-game players. There's Kennedy. Ripped down Parker. Great tackle. Watson again involved. Back to Jack. Derickx. Little give was good. Rampy got a second chance. Little give, well done to Laidler. Laidler lowered the eyes. Franklin worked underneath this one by Hurley. Hurley, quick giveaway. But he's really put a shiver up their back, I think, in this first half. Dempsey over it. Got to get it out. Still there. He's gone. He's gone. So Bird from half forward.
Too far out to score. Just sets it up long, and why not? Tippett really excited, you've got to say. Got there. Spoiled that time. Taken by Stanton. Hooker sold into trouble. Goods got in. Had a lot of time to get rid of it. And forces are behind.
You're right. He's very, very good hooker, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a really good defender all year. He's got this. Well, I guess he's a big man himself, but certainly he's done well. Tippett's almost got a couple, but really good spoiling defence.
Fletcher brings it in then. High ball outside the defensive 50. Grundy over the top, knocked it down. Taken by Bill Chambers. Look away, hand pass from Kennedy. Long kick from Rampy. Long kick from Rampy. Oh, that hurts. They're trying to mount a comeback. And a defender dobs a goal from about 60. Beautiful kick.
She's got a lovely left foot, hasn't
Just kept going, didn't it? You thought, oh, this will probably be just right on the goal line, but just cleared the pair of players on the goal. That's a beautiful kick. It's at least 60 metres from goal, so that's probably a 65-metre carry.
He fills out the 24 a little bit better than me, man. He's got probably a bit better kick too.
Yeah, good number.
It's a better left foot kick anyway.
We're talking about Hooker doing the job on Tipper, because we talked about Hooker maybe on Franklin at the start of the night. Now, Buddy's been everywhere and it's been so damaging. But Hooker has done a good job on Kurt, hasn't he?
Outstanding.
So Derickx and Bill Chambers. There's been a lively second term. Lots of goals, hasn't there? 12 goals to 5. Free kick here, holding the footy.
Holding the football.
So Watson, what a first half he's played. And a team that's been beaten by 7 goals at the moment has to spread wide. to Bagley. And then Bagley coming back to Fletcher. So Fletcher to wind it up, a bit of an up and under. He's just hoping someone can take a mark. Derickx, well done. 2 games 2 years ago for Richmond. I mean, he really is a remarkable recycled story, isn't he?
He's just the latest of the conveyor belt of ruck. I mean, when they have to be played first ruck, all of a sudden they start to improve enormously.
If you're 5'10" and you're that good, you don't get a game, do you?
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know exactly what you mean, Naka. Yes.
No.
There's not too many 5'10" ruckmans. Is that what you're telling me?
He's 26 years of age, and the reason he's out there is because he's big. But he's doing the job.
He is.
A lot of players who are that tall spend 10+ years on a list.
He's confident again. Delusions of adequacy that time. What a leap. But the mark is taken by Laidler, running back to the flat
Building up too much. He'll play outside his comfort zone.
I reckon he's got that earpiece in. The umpire should have him, don't you? He's listening to us.
We've got to stop the journeyman stuff.
No, keep
He's an
it in.
exciting player.
Keep it in there.
Do you think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
He fancies himself as a battler against the odds. What a leap that was.
Excellent.
He's got all the bits. No one just put them together right in the past. There goes the kick up towards the wing, and there's the siren for half-time. Well, Essendon worked and worked and worked, but late goals to Sydney have made it tough again. 43 points the margin. It was 36 at quarter time. Accuracy early from the Swans. Spirited second term by Essendon, but eventually the revolution, for the time being at least, put down. Half-time on Friday Night Football, and at Sydney 12-4, the Bombers 5-3. We're about to find out. Friday Night Football, margin 43 points, 36 at quarter time. So nothing much changed in the second term. Bill Chambers, Watson cleverly, Heppel under pressure. Bagley got the arms free, almost coughed it up. Hurley coming at the ball strongly is taken high and will get the free kick. Came with courage. Michael Hurley from half back goes out wide. Sufficient carry too. That was a clever kick, clever mark. Bagley to Heppel, bobbing up again, and Stanton on the lead. Wheels around, wants to deliver, goes long down towards full forward. Some body work down there, right? It could have almost been held. Laidler arrives quickly and takes it across the line. Minor score to open the action in the third term.
So they're able to get the scoreboard ticking over in the second quarter, Essendon. They kicked 4 goals, but it was just the damage at the other end. It was mainly Franklin in that second term. It was the midfielders in the opening. Jack with that familiar style. That's a beautiful kick. And Parker so impressive. He was part of that goal avalanche early, wasn't he? So just slowing it down, and there's a bit of an up and under. Kennedy was underneath. Lloyd just missed his Jeddah, and then Zaharakis and Malcheski go in hard. Watson puts a tackle on. Ball not quite out, and still not out. Tim, can you hear me? What did Bomber say in 1993?
Well, he just said, let's get back to the basics. We had team rules. We've gone a long way away from those, and so that's all it was at half-time. And, I mean, you don't turn it around in 1 quarter of football, but you know, in 2 quarters of football, we'd done it. So he'd go back to the basics. I mean, he's very much a basics coach, minute by minute.
Ball up towards the wing now. This is Parker. Slips it away. Hanbury gave it to Derickx. Jack going down, but not before he got a hand pass to Franklin, whose hand pass wasn't so good from the deck. Goddard gave it to Ambrose, to Zaharakis, back to Goddard. So industrious tonight. What a beautiful finish. Well, Paddy was undecided as he came to that ball to take it on the chest or in the fingers. Did neither. Bounced off his chest eventually. Rampy decides he'll go out of bounds and there'll be a boundary throw in. Well, he couldn't go inboard. He was going to be tackled in any case, so he decided he would go right, and they've got a boundary throw in. Well, they should have marked that one.
It's a good call, Dennis. You were so spot on. He had a couple of different goes at the one, didn't he, and messed it up. So McVeigh. Nothing's happened in this quarter. You feel like Essendon, they've come out okay, but they haven't been able to get that goal that they've been looking forward to. Bill Chambers, ball not out. What a good kick by Goddard going forward a moment ago.
I'm still getting over that sort of lack of inspiration in that half-time address from Bob and back in those years. I thought there was some inspirational theme, Tim, you were going to tell us.
Well, bottom line...
Go back to the basics. How boring.
Tim's too modest. They won by 11 points. Tim kicked the first goal and the last goal.
That was it.
Tim, you should have made it up. We would have believed it.
I'll give you a better 1 3/4 time.
Zaharakis, Malcheski, throw. I know it's very early, but do you feel that Essendon have started a lot better, don't you?
Getting more numbers around the ball. Bruce, when you look on screen, there's the next player in's an Essendon player. So that's, I mean, it's...
So Merritt to Fletcher. Not going to be a goal. Getting high was Ryder, and now Richards over the top.
Kieran Jack again, so good. Drives it up towards the wing. Reed is outnumbered. Going back after it, Myers. Got support. Met solidly by Franklin, but not before he got the hand pass away. This is Hurley. Hurley under pressure. It's a high ball back towards half forward. Well, Derickx is feeling the vibe. Not so good that time, though. The journeyman launched himself, and he's paid the price. Bill Chambers gets the free. Good to see him back, too. Goes in short. Zaharakis looking inside the forward 50. Kicks to space. Right at this time, perhaps. Well, free goes, and eventually comes up trumps. Huge kick, this one. He's got one.
One's good.
Perhaps this could kickstart a revival. Got to start somewhere. Matty Ryder. He's looked dangerous. He just hasn't made the most of his opportunities. Right behind this kick. Kick from about 35 metres out. A lot of hopes riding on this kick, and he puts it through. So the fans in the stadium, just about all Essendon supporters, like what they're seeing at the moment.
Much more positive start from the Bombers here. Ryder, sensational hands after dropping one a little bit earlier, but it's been the 7 tackles to 2 and also 4 inside 50s to 0.
So back to that quarter-time margin. So next goal here, pretty big, I reckon, for Essendon. When a team gets out to a 6-goal lead, you feel like they're in complete control, but for the last quarter and a bit, it's been all square.
Yep.
So let's see if they can make some inroads. Bill Chambers, that's smothered by Jack. So good. Little give Kennedy. Little give to Reed. Didn't get it out. Reed getting to Parker. Parker looking for a high tackle. Doesn't get a ball up. So good numbers again. Merritt and Heppel, 2 of the young guns, getting around Parker there.
Mark Thompson looking quite animated in the box. Derickx knocks it down. Now, Kennedy's going to get a free kick just wide of the pack. Well, in the pack, actually. Sends it inside the forward 50. Big leap, Tippett. Certainly his timing not there tonight. Oh, that goes Goods. The hand pass comes from Hooker, taken by Bird. Oh, that hurts. They've got some timely goals tonight. That's one of them.
So he gets the goal. Lee probably is 6 or 7, but he's got a good number on his back. Bobby Skilton and Paul Kelly.
That's right, yes. He's had some famous peers earlier.
He's been very good. And as Dennis said, their timing with their goals. I mean, every time, Essendon not threatening, we know that, but they've been able to keep them at a long lead, haven't they? So Hibbert getting through. Zaharakis liked his game, Zaharakis. That was a terrific back turn. Gets to fall forward, no free kick. Bombers want it. Laidler in a tight squeeze. Richards runs it over. Nelson with him, boundary throw in. Bomber fans passionate, wanting more for the ups right now. Can they get a bit more out of their players?
142 points, boundary throw in. Derickx. No call. Seemed okay. Wide of the pack, Hibbert. Watson. Now Dempsey lines up, and he misses for the near side. Shoulder to shoulder with that boundary throw in. Derickx putting it about tonight. He's been very valuable again. Grundy. Jetta on the outer side. Faster than a speeding bullet and almost as thin. At the moment, though, from half-back, he's not going to take a run, or will he? You never know. He sends a high ball towards the wing. In from the side, Parker. Derickx missed the ball. As a result, goes to a dangerous situation for Sydney behind the pack. Hibbert looking for support, looking back over the shoulder. Hanbury dives in over the football to get a free kick. He was taken front on. And that was a reward for courage and endeavour. Wants to go immediately. Searching ball inside the forward 50. Fisted away by Hurley. Taken by Myers. Goes back to Hooker. Hooker the high ball to the wing, but it's coming back. Derickx lays it off. Hanbury again. Inside the 50 once more. In from the side. Parker spilled it. Opportunity for Myers. Well, that was a chance gone begging for the Swans. Hibbert on the outer side. Spots Ryder. Gets it back from Ryder. Dempsey running out of space. That was clever. Heard the voice from Goddard. Zaharakis. He's in the action. Ambrose and Zaharakis a little 1-2. Now the captain joins in. Back to Zaharakis in space. Hibbert needs to control this footy. Slides in awkwardly and rather tentatively. Got to his feet. Rampy grabs the ball away from him and feeds it across. And the moment has passed as the kick goes towards the outer side.
Franklin front spot. Well done, Hurley. Myers off a step. Goddard. Oh, Franklin hard on Goddard. And then quick kick from Myers. A good one to Heppel.
They're the next, sorry, Bruce, they're consistently the next player into the contest at the moment, Eston, both in the air and on the ground.
Zaharakis to Watson. Gee, Job's kicked the ball superbly tonight. And now Danaher getting it in quickly. Bell Chambers, well done. Richards at the back. Roving it though, Ambrose. Looking, slow kick. Milsham trying to protect the footy. Getting back late, a little give. Over the top, Rampy. Pressure on Cunningham. Brought down, ball spills out. Stanton goes back to Milsham. Back to Stanton in the pocket. Not a bad kick, actually. Just couldn't quite get there, Bell Chambers. And a boundary thrown. Do you feel like this is the most competitive 4 or 5 minutes we've had all night?
The intensity's lifted, Bruce. The tackle counts up. They're leading contested possessions just in this quarter. So the effort's there, and it is the contest-by-contest approach that Tim mentioned that would have been Bomber Thompson's message at half-time.
Boundary throw in, a short one. No one touched the football. Runs clearly behind the pack. Bird gathers it. Out of defence, spirals it up towards the wing, and they've got 2-on-1 here, the Swans. Derickx, clever. Gives it across to Kennedy, who doubts about going back to Derickx, who was actually in the process of interchanging, if you don't mind. He's unorthodox. Ball on half-back as far as the Bombers are concerned, but they've got the numbers around the footy. Hurley gave it to Stanton. Across it comes to Dempsey. Now a chance on the outer side, but I told you that Jetta was quick. Oh, well done by Goddard. Knew he had a lot of help bringing up the rear, and as a result took care of Jetta, and now it's Zaharakis again.
But Jetta's pressure was terrific. Second, third effort. I reckon he caused the turnover in the end. Shaw goes down the line. Heppel cuts it off and takes the mark.
And that was the sort of effort that really elevated Lewis Jetta's game a couple of years ago, the second, third, fourth contest. And I mean, he's out his legs. He's just grabbed for the top of his left hamstring there. We'll keep an eye on that.
Heppel got busy in this quarter. Danaher, big fly, not quite. Grundy. Ball spilling out. Milsham. Watson near the umpire's really hurt here in the middle of the ground.
Collided with Malcheski.
Parker.
That's a move.
No.
Don't cheer that.
So, no, that's not good at all. Hanbury. So Hanbury off a step. I think we're going to stop play, are we?
So after all of that, Hurley's still got the football. He sends a high one down towards Derickx. Big leap at the back by Danaher. Hit the ground running. Looks towards half forward. Sends it long with his searching ball inside the forward 50. Richards reaches over the top. On the assist is Rampy. Unusual hand pass. It went behind Bird. Bird gave it across to Shaw. Hanbury. Rampy ran into trouble. Bounces out of trouble. Taken high.
This is a quick game, isn't it? There was such a lull there, and then bang. Big mark from Danaher. The speed of the game, the speed of the players is just extraordinary.
Well, somebody threw a switch. Malcheski with the footy. That's a beautiful kick into the path of Kennedy. Perhaps could have tested Danaher there. Wasn't quite aware of who was behind him. He sends the ball inside the forward 50 then. Tippett. With him was Fletcher. Falls in front. Heppel. In the opposite direction, Lloyd. Fletcher dives in. Lloyd had the ball momentarily. Tippett tried to get it long. Couldn't do that. Merritt gave it to Ryder. Hooker. Now Zach Merritt involved a couple of times to midfield. That's a good kick, demanding something of Stanton, who came back to the footy. 1-on-1 right on the 50. Richards favoured by the kick.
Grundy. Disappointing kick by Stanton. Merritt's kick to him was a beauty, but he just gave the chance to the Sydney defender, Shaw. Looked like he'd hurt himself early in the match. Hanbury, well, we talked a lot about his work rate. Jude, you're down there. You talked about his work rate and his numbers before the game. How have you seen his game?
Not too bad. He's hasn't hit the. He's only had the 21 disposals so far, so he's moving pretty well. But his work rate, obviously, the last month and a half has been incredible.
Goods. A goal in that second term. It's been a little cameo in a way. That's a beautiful mark. This guy is certainly a player. Parker and Lloyd tries to get to Tippett, then Tippett with that big frame back to Lloyd. That searching handball, that was clever by Bird. McVeigh, good stuff though by the Bombers. Derickx the first to get back. Bagley, ball not quite squirting out, still in there, ball up. So
I can't remember if Bomber Thompson said this at half-time or not, but I think one of the things he did say at half-time today was as soon as the players get the ball, to turn and actually play on here, because there's a real difference in the way Essendon played this second half in terms of trying to get the ball into their forward line quickly.
I think Ron Barassi said that in 1970, Tim, as well, didn't he?
Tim's got them all. Tippett, Bird, Parker kicks it straight up in the air. They come from all directions. Essendon in particular. Bagley collided with Heppel, but got the ball out of bounds. Carlisle to be introduced soon, you would think. Past halfway in the third term. Tippett and Ryder at the boundary throw in. Ryder over the top. Knocks it deeper. Hooker gets a kick away outside the defensive 50, but onto the chest of Richards. So Richards too far out to score. Virtually hugs the boundary. That's not a particularly attacking kick. Deep in the pocket, Kennedy hits the behind post on the angle on the bounce, and we've got another throw in.
Wonder who comes off for Carlo. What type of player?
Well, yeah, well, normally it's a slower player comes off for the quicker sub, but I guess it will be the reverse here. I suspect one of the Essendon small mediums has to be replaced in due course.
Heppel, Kennedy, Goods, well done. Jack probably threw it out. Goods got it back from Jack, and then on the left, that's clever. Rampy couldn't quite. Onto him in a hurry, the Bombers. Goddard, Zach Merritt. Geez, impressive, Zach Merritt. Little kick by Derickx. Holding up there was Aylett. Ball not out, ball up.
I think it'll be Bellchambers.
You reckon they will actually go as the pre-game? But they need to find. I mean, they've had 11 scoring shots halfway through the third quarter, and they're actually playing well, but they just can't generate scoring shots. They just got not enough class in that forward group.
Derickx goes after the football through the legs of Hanbury, overrunning at Hibbert. Well played by Hanbury. Had it, pushes it forward. Bellchambers scuffs it forward. Down goes Malcheski. Over the top, Dempsey. Grabbed in there by Kennedy. Hurried kick inside the forward 50. Well played, Hooker. Backed himself against the bouncing ball. Hand passes though. Wanted a kick. Dempsey was hit hard. Back it comes to Hooker. He was dragged down, reaching in his Lloyd. Keeps it alive. Kennedy ducks the head. Goes back into 3 Bombers and will have a ball up.
Jude, you must love the way Luke Parker goes about his football.
He's an absolute hard nut. I love it. But it's just these sort of rolling balls especially allow the Swans to set up well defensively. Currently they've got Reece Shaw sitting back just in front of Joe Danaher to help mop up as well. So, you know, Essendon need to somehow break this open.
Tom Derickx has got a free kick. Working behind Malcheski, left the football behind, so Derickx again has to compensate. Parker, Franklin, look away, hand pass, Laidler goes down towards the pocket, Tippett outnumbered, he certainly attracts a crowd. Heppel goes back and takes a timely defensive mark. His 19th possession.
He's had a good quarter. Just hold, Adam, hold! So Carlisle. Gee, Hurley's in trouble down there, isn't he?
Hurley's in real serious trouble, boys. He's just really hunched over at the moment.
He was on his haunches earlier in the game too, Bruce, so maybe he can't. If that's something in the midriff, perhaps.
Bagley. Good kick, Watson. And a remarkable opening half. Watson in a team that was getting well beaten. Short to Derickx. Stanton and McVeigh. Stanton just clever, toe poking the ball forward. Getting some help from Aylett. Aylett probably shoved in the back with a boundary throw in. So Hurley.
Interesting just watching the bench from where we are. Carlisle sitting in the second row. I reckon I'd be getting active, ready, saying, look, I'm ready to go. Hurley's in a bit of strife.
Do a bit of advertising along the boundary line, Tom.
Absolutely, yeah.
Heppel, quick kick.
They're just checking out his jaw at the moment, so we'll wait and see.
Sore and sorry, Michael Hurley. Malcheski releases Shaw into space, runs through midfield, goes out wide, and why not? Franklin, he's booted full, had him at half-time, wheels around, not a bad kick, into the path of Jack. He's a left footer, and as a result, didn't quite know what to do there. He was trying to work his way around. Spoils come to the young fellow Merritt. That's Zach Merritt, found Heppel. The young fellow, well, there's quite a contrast. Fletcher comes across the ground. Goddard over the top. Hibbert, a left footer as well. Does nicely. Creates his own space. Pulls away. Goes down towards half forward. Oh, good mark too. Lunging forward, Aylett.
Switches back to Hibbert on that left foot. That looked good off the boot. And we haven't had a score by either team for nearly 17 minutes. Now, I know we had the big delay, but it's been a real arm wrestle the last quarter of an hour or so. And Ryder, as Hurley being checked out there, here's the injury for Hurley. Just running into Parker. And Ryder basically playing as a full forward in this quarter. He's kicked a couple, including one in this term. Gee, that's a handsome-looking kick. Just not quite.
Again, it started right down the other end of the ground. It was Bagley and Merritt and getting the outnumber. The intensity's there from the Bombers at the moment. Just need to be more efficient and effective going forward.
Hurley back out there.
There's Grundy, took the short pass. A couple of bounces, took him up to the wing, and he finds Goods. Mark is a tough hombre. Some ferocious tackling last week. And that bump, he was virtually stationary. And one would have thought that Hurley would have taken him out. Here's Bagley, meantime. Back to Hooker. Hooker's short. Melksham needs to be precise here and is. Hocking. Bill Chambers leads in the middle. Again, precision required. Closing as Derickx doesn't get there in time. Bill Chambers slips a hand pass away to Goddard. Goddard goes across the ground, favouring the run of Myers. Needs to knock it forward. That was his intention. Well, and his second choice, of course, that was to take it cleanly and give it to Fletcher. He did that. The kick comes down towards half forward. Zaharakis with Jetta closing. Oh, well done, Jetta. Got him down. They've got the numbers, though, the Bombers, around this football. Ambrose, well, he hasn't got it, but he's still flailing away in there, and eventually the ball goes out of bounds.
Boys, the sub's been made. Jake Carlisle's on and Joe Danaher's off.
Okay, so Danaher looked up and about a bit early in this quarter, didn't he? So he's the one that's come off.
Yeah, no, he has actually had a pretty good 10 minutes.
Persisting with Carlisle forward again, that's the clear message.
Yeah.
Just can't score either. Well, Ryder got it behind a moment ago, but no goal for a long time. Parker had it for a while. Bell Chambers getting a lot busier. Jack Clever. Laidler on that left. That's a good kick, actually. Let's see, he's got the run. Kennedy, Hocking, couple of big bodies. Kennedy and Hocking. Hocking has a win. Gets it to Bagley. Bad handball. Hurley. Back to Myers. And then Myers off a step. Zaharakis, he's been busy. Takes the mark. Well, you've got to admire the Bombers' effort in this quarter. A long way back on the scoreboard, but they've really dug in. Good stuff, Jack. Lloyd, Derickx, switches to Smith. Smith out wide. Franklin. How does the ball bounce? Can he take them on? Decides to go with a neat kick over the back of Tippett. Tippett and Hooker. And Hooker running towards the line. Oh, gee.
Oh, didn't do that.
He didn't need to do that.
Yeah, he was going to probably run out, or he could have just ran it out. It was just a bit obvious, wasn't it?
That's the Kale Hooker of old.
You know, Tom, I was about to say, you said he was probably the All-Australian fullback centre back, and I was going to say he should be after tonight, and Tippett gets a goal. There you go. A bit of a gift, but a good kid.
Yeah.
Just didn't need it, did it?
No, it was going out of bounds.
Is it me or is it Ben Affleck?
Well, he was probably a bit. He was satisfied he wasn't chasing Buddy Franklin around that pocket there. He'd give the ball a help outside.
Just ignore me, Tom. That's all right.
And he looks a bit like Ben Affleck,
doesn't he? Parker sends it out wide.
Batman.
McGlynn, or rather McVeigh, gave it across to Hanbury. His kick to half forward intended for Franklin. Oh, gee whiz. Hurley back in the wars again, and no free kick. Well, there were players, I think, between the man who was hitting the umpire Farmer. I don't think he could have seen that. But obviously, from our vantage point, in a large section of the crowd, it was patently obvious. Tippett's got the football. And this doesn't look good either. So, and need the delay coming up here, and hopefully the bomber who's down is okay. But I call Hurley? I think I did. There he is, yeah. Oh, dear.
Well, that's the same as choosing to bump and it's had high contact again.
Lee, what do you think, Lee?
Well, they're both going down at the ball, but yeah, that's a really interesting one because they're both sort of going down to the ball, but Hurley's got his head forward, and I guess when that happens, the opposition player just has to be so careful that he doesn't hit him on the top of the head.
It's where the instinct of the player, you have to sort of somehow curb that instinct because I think he's in a bit of trouble.
I immediately looked at the closest umpire, and there are about 2 or 3 players, I'm sure, screening him. You know how they converge on the footy.
By the way, Doc Reed's still down in the rooms with the umpire at the moment. Doc Reed for the Bombers. So Hurley is a tough hombre.
In the wars too, isn't he? Just came back on the ground.
Yes, I mean, really, the difference is Hanbury's braced for contact. I don't know if he bumped, but he certainly braced for contact.
He did.
It really is that judgment call of the whole duty of care. Was he negligent? That is what will be decided eventually.
So Tippett, meantime, going at his second, and suddenly the genie has been uncorked. Poor old Cale Hooker. Let him back in the game.
He just taught as a player to go lower and harder. The hesitation that's being created in AFL football right now, the bobbling ball, 2 guys going at it, trying to keep your feet.
Do you think Hanbury will get time, Jude?
It's a tough one. It's right on the head. He's taking him out.
Shaw got it from McVeigh. Out wide. Tippett, who's kicked a couple of goals in the last minute. See, one thing, that was out in the full, wasn't it? Looked at Tippett's been kicking straight. I mean, has not looked like missing. There's Hanbury, of course, involved a moment ago. He also got a secondary hit, but he's picked himself up, and he might be a little worried about the immediate future. Tippett getting it forward from McVeigh, a boundary throw. This is the game-high margin at the moment.
We all agree it should have been a free kick, though, don't we?
Definitely.
I mean, that's
Definitely.
obvious.
High contact, yeah.
We understand that much as a boundary throw-in comes up. Reaching over the top, bell Chambers, missed by Zaharakis. Comes back to Hooker. Gives it across to Goddard in the congestion. Sends a high ball towards the outer side. Up goes Carlisle. Now, Zach Merritt's away. Couple of bounces. He's been eye-catching tonight. Has to wait for teammates. Carlisle went to ground. Feeds it back to the speedster. He gets it across to Ambrose. Wheels around. Pulls it back. Loose ball bouncing inside the forward 50. Oh, well done, Melcheski. Backed himself against the footy. Richards, the meat and the sandwich there. Will have a ball up. And we've certainly noticed Zaharakis involved again just moments ago. Melcheski, the worse for wear. It's been a tough quarter, this one, physically. Zaharakis, 14 possessions in the term.
Yeah, it's been good, Dennis.
Reece Shaw a bit ginger too from the last contest, so a couple of Swans lame out there.
I reckon Shaw was wounded early too, Tom, wasn't he? Laidler's little one. Parker gets it from Kennedy. Well done, Fletcher on Fredler. Back to Melcheski. I think 2 Lars operations. Am I right in saying that with the knees? I reckon. I mean, it's been an incredible effort by him to get back so quickly after 2 Lars operations. I mean, he's really done a remarkable job, hasn't he?
And those repaired legs have kicked some very important goals in their time too, haven't they?
Sure have.
Zaharakis, another possession. Goddard's kick, a little too delicate. Heppel goes back, outnumbered. Rampy takes it across the boundary line. Came off a boot. So Essendon, I think, get the football out there. Who will take it? I think it will be the older of the 2 Merritts, Jackson Merritt, who's been pretty quiet tonight, but he's had a bit of company.
So Mark Thompson down on the boundary. The 2 areas he would have loved to have addressed with contested possessions and tackles, and they've got right back on. That's they're the choices you make in a game.
52 points the margin then. Essendon through Merritt with a chance to pull that back, but gee, it's a big hill to climb now. First 10 minutes or so in the term, very good, and the tempo certainly went up from both clubs. Off hands after the siren, so 3/4 time. A lot to ponder. The umpire went down. Then Hurley went down a couple of times. Friday night football still on the up and up. It's 15-4-94 Sydney. Essendon 6-6-42.
ineffective in the front half.
Margin 52 points starting the final term at Etihad. Friday night football. Good bounce too from umpire Farmer. Very good at that. Kennedy out wide. Hitting the pack hard was Parker, and they hit him hard. They'll have the ball up. Gee.
I find it interesting that, I mean, they're getting beaten at both extremities of the ground, Eston, I reckon, but they haven't altered the structure in that part of the ground. I mean, their midfielders going reasonably, but they haven't really altered their defence or their forward line structure much at all.
Bell Chambers to a man under pressure. Heppel went back to Bagley. Now it's with Stanton. Just jams it marginally forward of the wing, and Ambrose comes at full tilt and takes the mark. Good news on the umpire, Troy Pennell. Okay, that's not 15. Heppel hacks his way out of there. Well done. Under pressure. Sends a kick down towards the 50. And what a kick it was. Under the chest of Jackson Merritt. Zaharakis, 15 possessions in the third term. And the first of the final quarter is a beauty right onto the chest of Paddy Ryder.
It's a good Paddy Ryder coming out of the square.
Just made a difference too, though, since they started to play on the Bombers, isn't it? They're giving their forwards some chance of actually finding some space.
That was probably the dilemma, really, when they were thinking about subbing. If Bell Chambers came off, then Ryder would probably have to go onto the ball. And he has looked dangerous down there. That kick, not so flash. He misses to the left-hand side.
He's missed a couple, Tim, but he's, as you say, he's been the most likely, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So Sydney's so accurate tonight after the travails of last week. So there's a ball out there on the ground, actually. They'll get it back now. What a quarter by Zaharakis. Hurley, gee, he's had a tough night. Soldiering on, kicking to full forward. Carlisle getting involved. Well done, Jake. Well, the sub, eh? Huge roar for him here.
This passage of play here from Jake Carlisle shows you what he's physically capable of. It's a contest. He's picked the ball up off the ground and shrugged the tackle and bent the ball around the body. So he's got all the tools, just needs to get it to happen more consistently.
Bell Chambers won it down. Zaharakis had it. Tackled by Parker. Quick whistle.
Out. Came back out. Straight back. Thank you,
45
David.
points the margin.
Straight back. Josh, straight back. Thank you.
Derickx ran into Bell Chambers. Didn't move him. Hurried kick around the corner came from Kennedy. With the outside of the boot, Dempsey just coughs it up straight to Smith, to Hanbury. Hanbury out wide, going after a Tippett. Missed there by Hooker. He's let Tippett back into the game. Here's Franklin. Hasn't added to his 4 goals in the first half and won't here. Wide of the mark, and Fletcher goes back.
Good save from Fletcher. He does that so often. Running it out. Heppel goes back to Hooker. Hooker's been on top of Tippett, but he got away and kicked a couple. Smith going forward and finding McVeigh, who kicked 2 goals in the opening term from further out than this. And a feature of Sydney tonight is the fact that they have been very, very efficient in front of goal. Something they didn't do last week. I mean, Franklin with those 7 behinds famously. The whole team were missing a few last week.
You can change very quickly accuracy for goal. That is one thing that changes a lot from week to week. 15-4 tonight. They've been dead eyes.
And they're 10 from 10, Lee, on the set shots tonight. So they haven't missed one. So pressure's on McVeigh, eh? And he's made it 11 from 11. He's kicked 3. That's a big return for him. Wayne, let's have a look at Sydney's next 4. Where do they get their wins, do you reckon?
Well, you think it would be a very good game against the Cats. You'd expect them to get the Suns and another ripper against Port Adelaide. So they've got a tough 3 weeks ahead. Guaranteed 1. Toss of the coin, the other 2.
Hocking does nicely. Goes with the right boot. Play on was the call. It was touched. Ambrose appealing that it was a mark. Well, the umpire said it often enough. He's a bit lucky there. I think he called the bluff of the umpire.
Swans are going to make the sub. Brandon Jack has taken off the sub vest at this stage.
Knocked wide there by Goddard. McVeigh cleverly to his own advantage goes to Reid, sweeps it inside to Kennedy. Now Jenner flirting with the idea of running on, goes back to Kennedy. Kennedy, top end of the goal, or centre square rather, looks for Tippett on the lead coming up from the goal square, and he's marked about 40 metres out directly in front.
And Adam Goods has taken the subs vest, boys, so he's made the change.
Can I change my mind, Bruce? If they play like this, 3 out of 3.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, there'll be 3 attractive games of footy, won't they? The Suns, Port Adelaide and Geelong. Well, it's a good month.
Poor old Cale Hooker was the master of this battle the first half and a bit. Tippett, give him his due, has fought back pretty strongly. This one is out to the right, but I think it's good enough. So he's got 3 second half goals, all of them.
Just have a look at Josh Kennedy through the middle here. Just 2 or 3 touches. Every decision correct. Every skill execution correct. He's a good player.
Does he get enough recognition outside of Sydney, you think?
I think he does now.
Yeah.
I think he does now. But it takes a while to work your way from being very good, to absolutely elite in people's minds anyway.
So Hibbert to Melsham, and then Melsham squeezing to the pocket. Lee, I'm going to be cheeky. He must be getting close to your top 7 that you talked about in the countdown tonight.
You'll know in about 7 weeks' time.
Okay,
we only do it about every 7 weeks.
That's the last
Not every half a game.
That's the last time I'm going to ask you about that tonight.
Boundary throw in. Bill Chambers looking to direct it behind the pack. There's that man again. Sends it high towards the wing. A good grab there. Got the ball at its highest point, Sam Reid. And he's virtually come back and under the radar a little because of all the hype surrounding both Franklin and Tippett playing together for the first time last week. But Reid came back as well, and he's fitted in very nicely. Good's a quiet night, but working his way back after a long break. Derickx knocks it down, slapped away by Watson. McVeigh falling to the ground. Smith, Bird. That was good judgment. Saw the man cruising past was under pressure. Comes short to Parker. Parker, a ferocious competitor. I don't think it's my imagination, but when he's got the ball, they come at him pretty hard too. Trying to repay him in kind. As the ball goes down towards half forward, over the top. Ryder just slaps it out of bounds.
Just noticing Josh Kennedy, Tom, you pointed out 20 contested possessions.
Yeah.
That's, I'm pretty sure, for the 22nd time in his career, which is adding to the all-time record that he's got.
6 times more than Gary Ablett is the next best, I think.
And I think 1999 was when they started taking those out. Jack brilliantly. Jetta to Bird. What a good night Bird's having again. Gets to full forward. Franklin trying to get rid of Hurley. Can Buddy do it again? Well, he's kept his average up. 5 against the Bombers.
That one-on-one. Adam Goods is interesting in the Swans lineup. Whether can he get fit enough? He has to be a running, almost a half-forward flanker. They've got plenty of height with Reid and Tippett and Franklin. Can he be a running half-forward? Can he get fit enough at this stage of his career?
Apple helps the ball on its way down towards half-forward. Shaw with dash across half-back. Little chip out wide. The mark is taken by Bird. So Kennedy with a game-high 35 possessions. Think back to last time these sides met, he got the 3 Brownlow votes. He's well on the way again tonight. Talking about players who play well against clubs. Grundy comes to Richards. He's in right half back. Switch back and does. Here's Rampy. Now we can go up the middle. Shaw has it. Running hard is Melchesky. Next link in the chain. Cruises past the centre circles. Sends it inside the forward 50. Almost the mark down there to Hurley. Followed up, did nicely. Gave it to Dempsey. Dempsey short. Jackson Merritt. He's at right half back and wants to go low and awkward to mark. Carlisle couldn't. Going to ground was Rampy. He'll get a whistle and the ball up.
Tim, I just got to ask you the question. I read the paper this week about the Asada, the supplement saga, and just the wearing down effect of the club. I mean, Sydney have been magnificent tonight.
Oh.
I might come back to you. Tim, what do you think about it all?
Well, I think it will eventually wear them down. I'm not sure what the effects have been at this point, but I think eventually it will wear them down, Macca.
Dempsey just missing. So
there's been a lot of talk, obviously, this week, and they can't escape that talk. And I think at some point, no matter what they try and do about talking about the fact that they've got a cocoon there and they're only going to worry about things that they can control, there's just that level of uncertainty all the time about what is going to happen, and that at some stage.
Melchesky drives it up towards the wing. Reid couldn't complete the mark. Brandon Jack in trouble. Myers got him. Hibbert the half volley. Watson. Zaharakis, spectacular third term. Trying to lift his teammates. Touched on the mark. Comes across towards Hawking. It was a well-weighted hand pass into the path of Hibbert, who ran onto it, and as a result, young Aylett can kick a goal. 40 metres out, decides against it, gives it to Bell Chambers, standing in the goal square. His comeback match has been pretty good tonight.
He's got through the whole game. There was talk that perhaps he may have been a sub, but he's getting miles into his legs.
Kicks his first goal.
I know they've been badly beaten tonight, but they're certainly a better team with both Bell Chambers and Ryder there, don't you think?
Yeah.
The Bombers.
Yeah, and Bell Chambers, it's all about getting miles into his legs, so he's going to play the full game, and that's a positive for the Bombers.
Gee, Ryder good there. Stanton going forward. Watson, who's in the forward 50 for the moment. Massive opening half for Watson. We shouldn't forget Derickx, and the fact that he's been able to hold the Swans rucks together with no pike in the last couple of weeks. I mean, it's been a big effort by him, hasn't it?
Just builds the story of the players traded from other clubs. Some have been superstars like Tippett and Franklin, obviously, but you know, Derickx, Laidler, Ted Richards. Remarkable recruiting.
And ironically, Richmond could probably have used him with Merrick's being injured in the last few weeks. Fletcher off that step. The big switch out wide. Heppel's brave. He'll stay under it, and he does, and takes the mark. What a great story at half-time it was with the two Heppel boys.
That was great, wasn't it?
Aaron could
almost, bit of life in those two.
I reckon Aaron could almost come out and play the second half. We wouldn't have known the difference, except he's a right footer. Let's hope he makes it at the AFL level. It'd be something, wouldn't it? He's a good player, this young fella. Had his birthday on Wednesday. Doesn't quite get it. It's a behind. That's the one thing probably that's been missing from his game. He hasn't been a high goal scorer so far, but he's a getter. Big numbers.
And he's a beautiful kick too, so you get the sense that that'll come as he develops further into his really good young career.
Just 16 in his career so far. Here's Malcheski to the outer side, stretching his Franklin. Hurley there, step for step, well played. Zach Merritt in trouble. Dempsey does brilliantly. Treads the light, fantastic, then coughs it up as he kicks it straight to Kennedy. No margin for error there for Dempsey, but he found a way through. And now Kennedy's got the footy. Halfway through this final term on Friday Night Football. There's Parker. An emerging player, Parker. Ball comes across the face of goal, taken by Richards. Kennedy's personal best is 40, currently at 36. This ball ricochets offshore, close to the boundary line, picked up by Hawking. Gave it to Goddard. Shaw came again, slapped it away. Lloyd had the football momentarily, taken by Hawking. Down he goes. Goddard is claimed. Well done by Lloyd getting back into the contest. Now backing off, doing well there. 37 for Kennedy. Bird gives it across towards a man at full stretch. That's Malcheski. Malcheski to Hanbury. Hanbury might kick a goal. Just out to the left-hand side. 40 possessions for him last week as well.
I reckon Buddy's a bit disappointed there. He was on, wasn't he?
He was on.
Did you notice that, Duck, did you?
I sure did. He had all the space, didn't he?
He was thinking 6, wasn't he? Does it make a difference if you kick 5 or 6, Lee and Wayne? You kicked about 13 under between you. Well, I don't more than that.
Yeah.
17 under.
You want as many as you can get, Bruce.
That's it, yeah.
Ryder. Dempsey. Up and under. Zach Merritt and also Ambrose. Dempsey with that run. That's a beautiful pickup. And then off a stride, getting the ball inside the forward 50. Grundy and Bell Chambers. Stanton rolling it forward. Getting it. Not quite. Didn't get the bounce. And it just goes out in the hooker pocket, eh? And a boundary throw in. The yellow strip there, of course, for Men's Health tonight. The call to arms game.
So boundary throw in. Clock running down on this one. 1:13:57. Derickx and Bell Chambers. Derickx directs it down. Watson back over his shoulder. Zaharakis had some space there. Hibbert didn't. Now Parker picks it up. Short one on the lead is Tipper. Derickx still running on. He's a very fit big man because he's got reason to be tired. He's taken the opposition virtually on by himself tonight in the tall man department. Franklin used his body on Hurley, just nudged him out of the way. And that was a clever mark. He's got 5 tonight, buddy.
Reset. You can't come into the protected area. You'll kick again.
That was his teammate that came into the protected area.
There it is. Come back.
So Buddy, 8 goals last time he played against Essendon, round 18 for Hawthorn. He's butted up again. It's just remarkable how he kicks all these goals against one club. I mean, he's kicked a lot of goals in his career, but Essendon really seemed to be his bunny.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Dan. I mean, he's going at 5 a match and 50 in his last 8. That's plugger-like stuff. That's what he did against Collingwood in a stretch. So throw, and I think that free to the Bombers.
Clear out. Hold there.
So he's got 55 in 11. Is that right? Yeah, 55 in 11 and 50 in his last 8 against Essendon. So it doesn't matter what jumper he's wearing, eh?
No.
Bagley out wide. Carlisle used his body pretty well. Kicked a goal in this quarter. Was the sub. Was a surprising choice. It was the first big shock of the night, wasn't it? The Carlisle was the sub.
Seems to matter what the other crowd are wearing, though. It has to be red and black. He orders it up from room service.
He does pretty well against Collingwood as well, to be truthful.
Something about the black bit. Boundary throw in. Derickx again. Tiptoes up and wins the tap. Well played. Hanbury goes with a right boot out of the congestion. Reid kept his eye on the football. In fairness, so did Bagley going back. Merritt gave it across to his brother. It was Jackson to Zach. Now through midfield, Fletcher gave it to Hibbert. Running on, and the mark is taken by Ambrose right on the 50. He was involved. It just kept going. From 55 metres out. Can Carlisle mark it in play? Juggles it, but not across the line. That's a mark. Grundy, quick thinking, tried to push him back across the line while he was busy juggling the ball. But Carlisle stood his ground. Got to say Grundy too, an underestimated defender. He just does it every week, generally against taller opposition. A lot to like about him.
15 seconds.
Carlisle.
That's right. Ted, no, Ted. No.
They're waiting for him, but they won't get there in time, and Carlisle snaps his second goal.
So, Wayne, you've given us your top 5, and now the punters give their votes on it. Go through them, mate.
Yeah, well, I've got Buddy Franklin. Kennedy has been absolutely brilliant. Joe Watson's first half was sensational. I think Jack and Heppel finish off the last 2. Heppel has been very good all night, shown a lot of courage.
So what do you think at home? So great names and all played well, obviously. The 3-2-1 would be pretty interesting because Sydney have had such a big win. You'd think that they'd have to sort of dominate the Brownlow votes, wouldn't you?
Generally the way it goes. Fletcher got it from Dempsey. Hibbert trying to close him down. Jack needed to be a precise kick. Well, it found the chest of Heppel, but arriving at the same time as the footy was rampy and the ball ricochets out of bounds.
Speaking about Josh Kennedy, we mentioned how many times he's had 20-plus contested possessions. He's also had 10 clearances, and that's the 9th time he's had 20 contested possessions and 10 clearances, equal with Gary Ablett. They're the 2 standouts of the modern era.
Third steals it after the boundary throw in, kicks it down towards right half forward. Franklin arrives quickly. Hurley to Hooker. Good pressure coming from Buddy there. Hurley confronted by Reid, gets the kickoff up towards the wing. Bell Chambers, good grab. He's really working into this game. Timmy said he was underdone. Well, he's still pushing close to the boundary line. This one goes out. Good contest at the footy from Heppel and Richards. Richards the last man to get up of the 2. And a throw in right at the interchange gates.
Yeah, I think we're all under the impression that Bell Chambers might be another 2 weeks away or a week away. He has been pretty impressive. Certainly probably more after half-time, but a good effort. Jackson, Merritt running straight into Rampy. Hanbury. His bump on Hurley will be a massive talking point at the end of tonight. And Hocking giving him one to go on with. Adam Goods subbed out. Interesting stage of his career. I mean, coming back 34 years back. Straight into the year as well, doing a lot of stuff outside of footy. I guess he's always done that, but just taking a while. Goddard, clever. Stanton has to be quick now. Good little give coming from Merritt. Well done, Stanton, running on. Back from Aylan. Hibbert with a good long leg. Not straight. And behind.
There's no doubt. I mean, the recruiting of Franklin's on the understanding, the real understanding that Goods is in the last year or 2 of his career. So So he will just be a little bit of cream for the Swans from this point onwards. But if he can get to anywhere near fitness and touch, he's a wonderfully talented player.
He's going to be better served if he plays in the front half, kicking his goals, running towards goals, as opposed to coming up, leading up at the ball, isn't he? So going to be the player who gets it over the top.
Jake Lloyd got it to Balcheski, involved in a collision with Troy Pennell, the umpire tonight. And Pennell came off the ground. Told he is okay. That'll be an interesting affair in the aftermath of this one too. So a bit to talk about, despite the fact that it's been a little lopsided on the scoreboard. Smith comes to Malcheski again. Going sideways at the moment. Wants somebody to come at him. Goes down the line. Still a live football picked up by Dempsey. He's tried hard, particularly in the second half. Goddard has been good all night. Went to Merritt. Jackson Merritt gave it to Aylett. Aylett's hand pass intended for Stanton. Very ambitious. Jack gets back.
Gets the half forward. Hurley. He's been in the wars a bit, but he's battled on. Myers back on the team again tonight after his injury. And then Zaharakis getting it from Fletcher. Had 14 disposals in the third quarter, Zaharakis. Here's Aylett. Yes, just gets the kick away. Good battle here. Ryder works at the front. Oh, Richards should have given a free kick away, I reckon, there. Taking Ryder out of it, and then off a step Shaw, finding Malcheski and now slowing it down.
They've been good, Shaw, Malcheski and Ramby, haven't they, across half-back?
And again, Essendon. I think Essendon were averaging 64 points in their last 5 games, and that's exactly what they're on at the moment. They're really struggling to score. Hanbury, well done. Getting the ball away. Franklin outnumbered this time. Hurley works it to the front. Fletcher, Buddy coming in late. Back to Myers. Myers going back to Goddard. Goddard over 30 now, up to 31. And I reckon Zach Barrett, well, we've talked a bit about him. I know he's been fantastic.
Zaharakis, great second half. Goes across the ground, but obviously not enough for the Bombers tonight. Not enough players buying in either. There's the short one from Dempsey, barely 15. The kicker and the marking player cross after about 3 steps each as the ball goes down towards the pocket. Grundy again got his fist on it. Bird, Merritt, or rather Jetta. Short one comes to Cunningham, who decides to run it up and then uses the run of Shaw out wide, and Reid. So much to like about the Sydney Swans right now. Been transformed. They're going for 5 straight tonight. They're going to get it. And this young man, Tom, tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, he's been good. He's from Victoria, an 18-year-old, turning 19 this year, picked up in the rookie draft. And we talk about the recycled players and the traded players. Recycled's unfair. 7 of them playing for the Swans. Now, there are also 7 elevated rookies. So 14 of their 22 are from, I guess, non-traditional recruitment. It's a remarkable story and a remarkable stat.
Gee, lovely build-up here too. Cunningham getting it from Malcheski. And then Cunningham, well, not far enough apparently. Malcheski's little give. Kennedy waiting, goes back, gets to Jack. Jack's been another fantastic play. Beautiful kick. That's a free kick to Bird, not paid. Parker and Bird over the one ball. Back to Parker, flipping it back. Zaharakis bending his back, getting it back to Myers, going back to Goddard. So massive numbers for Goddard tonight. Short to Aylett, takes the mark. Aylett, oh, dangerous. Hibbert takes that. Oh, no, doesn't take the mark. Tackle pressure coming from Lloyd, the boy they were talking about a moment ago. Getting Hibbert almost down. Jack, ball not quite out. Milsham and also Smith. Now Kennedy again. This would top it off. Well, getting back. Hooker, has he got the 40, Kennedy? What's
39, Bruce.
39, so 40's his career high.
Hooker goes short. Watson on the stretch. The clock running on Kennedy. As Watson goes out wide, of course, he'd be oblivious to that. Wouldn't care less. Zaharakis bounces around the outer side. Has had 30 possessions himself. All bar 8 have come in the second half as he goes inside the forward 50. Bell Chambers finds it on the ground. The 2 big guys, Ryder and Bell Chambers, not their worst players tonight by a long shot. Down towards full forward Grundy. Carlisle almost took the mark, slung it across to a teammate in Smith, gave it to Jetta. Jetta kicks to midfield. Hurley, the recipient of a couple of hard knocks tonight. Well played by Myers. Good to see him back. He'll be better for this run. Fletcher to Goddard. Goddard goes back inside the forward 50. And fitting, really, that in the dying moments, Derickx He's been overshadowed by some big names tonight, but he has been very good. He's done what was required of him. He's taken on a couple of tall men, in fact, probably 3 over the course of the night with Danaher, and he's come up trumps.
He might be a used car, Derickx, but I'd buy him. He's got a good engine, hasn't he?
He certainly has.
So the Swans have a big win. They set it up early. Franklin was a star. Hanbury, well, a bit to think about tonight. Played very well, but the big collision with Hurley. Jack part of a midfield that dominated. Tippett got his 3, and Sydney win 5 in a row and cement that spot in the top 4. They're a good side. Down to you, Jude, with Buddy.
Against the Bombers, 5-1's a little bit better than 2-7, though.
Yeah, it is. Finally had my kicking boots on tonight. Last week was disappointing not to kick my goals, and tonight I kicked straight, which was really good.
How well poised is the club right now going into a bye?
Yeah, I think we're playing at 5 on a trot now, so we're poised pretty well, and we're playing some pretty good football. So there's still a long season to go, and the old cliche, mate, one game at a time. But Joey Kennedy was in top form again tonight, and our midfielders are on top, and give our forwards a good chance.
Enormous amount of depth with the club at the moment, with boasting Tom Mitchell, O'Keefe, those sort of guys in the reserves.
Yeah, we've got O'Keefe, we've got Tommy Mitchell, we've got some good young players and senior players playing seconds up in Sydney, and we've got great depth at the football club at the moment. So if a player does come in, so it's exciting times.
What's on for the bye?
Might head home back to Perth for the weekend, so it'll be good.
Enjoy it. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
So he's poised on 599 career goals, eh? So a good night for Buddy, a really good night for him. Goddard and McVeigh together both have good matches, really good matches. Down to you, Tim.
I'm here with Dan Hanbury. Dan, that was a great win by the Sydney Swans, 5 in a row now, and the season well and truly back on track.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, the first month of footy probably wasn't our best. We made a big focus to work a bit harder and try and be more consistent, which we were tonight. And it's just good to have a good solid win going to the bye.
And that forward line's really starting to work now too. I mean, Buddy was enormous again tonight.
Yeah, he was really good. Obviously, he had a pretty tough start to the year, which has been well documented, but he started to work really hard and get some rewards, and he's settling into the footy side, and the boys love him around the footy club, so great for him, and it's good for the footy club.
One of the more difficult parts of the game now, the bump. Dan, we know that you collided with Michael Hurley tonight. Just take us through what you were thinking at the time.
Oh, to be honest with you, I didn't even really see him until I actually collided with him. I was in the footy, and it happened so quickly, I sort of didn't even know what had happened. Really, I had to ask the doc, so to be honest with you, guys would know more than me. I was sort of in the moment, so I didn't really see what was going on.
You came off at the time. Was that? Did he get you in the ribs? Is that right?
Yeah, in the ribs. Yeah, in the ribs. So they were pretty sore, but got the all clear from the doctor, which was good, and able to come back on.
Thanks for your time. Well done.
Cheers, Tim. Thanks, mate.
Good on you, Tim. So another very good match for Dan. So this that little worry. There is Michael Hurley. Jake Carlisle was the sub. He kicked a couple in the last quarter.
Yeah, Hurley, he boxed on pretty bravely tonight. I think he's had over 20 possessions himself. He had his hands full with Buddy Franklin, and he was in the wars, and a number of times came off quite lame. It was interesting footage there with the Hanbury contest with Hurley. Clearly had eyes on the ball the whole time, so that is the greyest area. There was no intent in the bump. However, it was head-high contact for Hurley, wasn't it?
For sure, no doubt about that. So Sydney with that bye, and then that tough run. And look, Tippett alongside Frank there. 8 between them again. Last week, 6 between them. Tonight, 8 between them.
He looks so dangerous. The hook was good on Tippett. I mean, he did his part, but gee, if you haven't got a big, strong defender, Tippett is going to be imposing deep. And Franklin, as we know, is now again the running marking player that has built such a massive reputation over the years.
And Tippett 2 matches back 7 goals. I mean,
yeah, he did the same last year, didn't he? You're sort of looking at him, you feel that he's the type of player that needs touch, but the past 2 seasons have suggested he gets the flow of the game pretty quickly when he comes back from an extended break.
I'm not sure right now if I pick anyone to beat them. Maybe Port Adelaide and Adelaide, maybe Geelong at Geelong. Hawthorn at their best, but they haven't got their best in. I don't think I'll pick anyone else to beat them.
Well, so their defence is really solid. Got good run and bounce. Their midfield, they've got plenty in there with Jack and Kennedy at a high-class Hanbury. And that forward line has got a lot of options. And it also hard to stop them kicking 15 goals.
I mean, their defence is where their age is. Richards and Grundy are probably older players, but the rest of the side, the midfield is young. The forwards, I mean, Franklin and Tippett are young enough.
Yep. Both about 27, probably in their prime, to be honest.
They're a team in their prime right now, I think.
In terms of their age. And look, Franklin has turned the clock back a bit with those overhead marking. That's been the big difference in the last couple of weeks. We always know he's capable of having a good night, but the way he's doing it, I think.
Oh, yeah, just amazing, really, that, you know, for whatever the whys and wherefores in the house, getting Tippett and Franklin into the team in the last 2 seasons are just massive ins for any team in the competition there. So that's really top Sydney off.
And it would be interesting now if you ask the viewers, is he worth the big money? I mean, everyone's been down on Buddy this year.
Yeah.
Right now, his stocks are higher than they've been any other time this year.
No. Right now he is. I mean, the debate always centres around the length of the contract, but as it stands right now, he's at the upper echelon of players in the competition. That's what those players get paid.
Well, if football's week to week, you're certainly year to year. So the first year of his contract is looking pretty good in these last few weeks. What happens in the next 8 years? It's a massive period of time. That's it's a long-term, a massive investment. We know that, but for the moment, it's making them a better team right now, no doubt.
4 matches on the road for Sydney this year, 4 wins. So they've won every match away from home. They've been able to take care of the business away from Sydney this year. Ironically, struggled at home early, didn't they?
Yeah. Been perennial late starters to seasons, and that's 5 in a row now for the Swans.
Here we go.